Hello, everybody, and welcome to Bettina Joy de Guzman, who is an old friend of mine. You're not old, but we've known each other for a while. I was actually on her TV show, Ancient Greek Culture. Is that what it was called?
Ancient Greek culture now.
Ancient Greek Culture now. God, what was it? 5 years ago or something like that?
Yeah, at this point, when I interviewed you, yeah.
Yeah, and so she came to Athens and she interviewed me in my lab. I found the trailer for the episode. This is not the first TV show I was ever on. This was the first TV show though where I was like my research was the focus of it, and it was really friggin' cool. She came to the lab I was working in Athens, and we talked ancient animal bones and stuff like that. So let me play the trailer for it right now. One of my important findings, I think, is that what they ate at home versus what they ate at a temple.
Στο μεγάλο αφιέρωμα του μήνα και στην έναρξη της σειράς, διατροφικές συνήθειες και τελετουργικές συμπεριφορές των αρχαίων Ελλήνων. Η αλήθεια ενός μικρού θραύσματος. Αυτή την Κυριακή στις 9 το βράδυ, στο Κοσμο...
Yes, Archeolimikos Politismos Tora. That was the title.
Yeah, exactly. So this aired on the Cosmote History Channel in Greece. And very super cool. Very, very cool. I got to watch it myself in Greece, and that was fun. And because I was living there at the time. And yeah, super cool. No, it's great to have you on. For those that do not know the awesome Bettina, she is a musician and a classicist and a scholar and a teacher, and she focuses on ancient music, and she plays this amazing lyre in public performances and on her YouTube and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, what do you? Well, before we get into your music, I gotta know: did you see the Odyssey?
I saw the Odyssey, indeed.
Okay, now I
saw it
don't
in the
care
movie.
what you thought about the music, or sorry, about the movie. I care what you thought about the music. What did you
Oh,
think about the music?
you don't care what I thought about the movie.
No, I do. All right, tell me about the movie first. Did you like the movie?
I liked the movie. I went with two of my closest friends who are not classicists. One is a historian and one is not, involved
Aha.
in classics or history whatsoever. And the historian, the art historian, not loved, liked it immensely, had lots of questions. And then the one who's not at all a historian really liked it more.
Huh.
And that was important to me, to be there with people who just want to enjoy it. I mean, we were there for each other's company and to just enjoy the movie. And so I enjoyed it, being around people who just want to be there and have a good time. And then they asked me, what's the difference between that and the movie, right? Like when I say that, what's the difference between book and movie? I said, so much. But let me backtrack. I am a film aficionado. I
Okay.
love films. And because I love films, I see it as itself a standalone thing. And I see it under its own merit and its own vision. So he has his vision, and it's very clear and very crisp what he was trying to do. And then there's the Odyssey. And then there's my hopes that I had, which were dashed completely. But, as soon as I realized, oh, this is not Homer's Odyssey. Okay. All right, let's go see your vision. All right, it's like, okay, that's enjoyable. What I was hoping for was something way more colorful and not beige and grayed out, and had people actually playing the lyre and had strong female characters, and Odysseus, who is actually not a nice guy, so much, and not grief stricken over what he did. I mean, PTSD is one thing, but like actual guilt and stuff is another. So, I mean, there were things I had hoped for. It wasn't that, and that's fine. It's like, oh, okay, that's not what he was going for at all. So, all right. Now the music part.
Wait. So no, I just want to clarify. I also agree with you. It was not what I expected, but I didn't expect it to be Homer's Odyssey. That's impossible to translate into film. There were some things that I thought were missing, but at the same time, as for those that saw my review yesterday, I thought it was easily an 8 out of 10. I thought it was a fantastic, fun movie to watch.
Yeah, I agree
Yeah,
with you. Like 8, 7.5,
yeah.
something like that. Like, yes, an enjoyable movie to watch, and I can absolutely recommend it to people who have never and don't know anything about the Odyssey. I'd be like, watch that, and then I could tell you. Then we can have a discussion about what are the differences, and I think that's fun. I mean, that's where my students would be coming from. My
Hmm.
Latin students, my classical Greek students, that's where they would be coming from. Well, actually, classical Greek tends to be more myth based. Like they're there because they love myth. Latin students are just there, for various reasons. And yeah, I mean, that's where the discussion would come from. Something that they came across in any way at all,
Hmm.
whether it's Percy Jackson, whether it's that, whether for some reason their parents had them watch the miniseries 1990s Odyssey, whatever it is. There's an entry point and then a discussion.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, okay, the big question though for you is, what did you think of the music?
I would have really loved it if somebody gave Travis Scott a lyre, just to hold it as if
Hmm.
as
Hmm.
if he had just finished playing it and now puts it down and now just wants to do spoken word rhythmic something. Um, and he only did a very short part of like spoken word rhythmic
Yeah.
anything too. So uh, and then I did appreciate my Alice teacher, the fabulous, amazing Callum Armstrong's playing. So ubiquitous now and so prevalent in the film.
Yeah.
Um, and especially I mean, I noticed it during the Penelope and Odysseus scene when she's behind the screen and they're talking.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
um, and that was fabulous to hear. That I would have loved to hear my friend Rosa Fragorapti's lyre playing it. I know that she played in the lyre in the soundtrack, but it was so buried in there I didn't hear it at all, at least during the film. I mean,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
maybe the soundtrack it can be heard more, but as a film experience I didn't hear it at all. Here's the Aulus, everybody, for yeah. And it's so that was amazing to hear that in the soundtrack. um the polyphonic folk music, folk singing, wonderful. I was a big fan of Xena Warrior Princess back in the day in the 2000s, right? And I was a grad student the first time around before my kid showed up, and that became its own Odyssey and my own homecoming back to
Exactly.
he's 19, so he's like Telemachus age, you know what I mean? It's like,
Oh, perfect. All right.
yeah. But during the Xena Warrior Princess days, I think it's Joseph DeLuca that did the soundtrack then. I mean, there was a lot, it was influenced by polyphonic Balkan singing, which was a big
Yeah.
thing back then in the 2000s and even maybe a little bit earlier. So I love folk music, traditional music, along with ancient replica music, musical instruments, fused together in new music that's not meant to be a reconstruction at all, but to transport us modern audiences, back. So it's that sort of approach is similar to mine, to my music. So I appreciated it. Yeah.
Okay. Very, very cool. What did you think of the Sirens song?
Was you know what? This is really funny, but I don't remember it at all. Wasn't it just? I mean, in the soundtrack, I noted that there's a song called "Sirens," which I didn't listen to, and yeah, I didn't get a chance to listen to the soundtrack like apart from the movie, so I didn't notice the Siren song.
They
Was that?
muted it.
Oh, is that? Oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay, no wonder. I was like, I don't remember it, Flint. Oh, that was a trick question. Okay, good. Yeah, yeah, I didn't. I was like, oh, I didn't notice it at all. I remember, focusing on Matt Damon in complete agony, going, and and I was like, oh, huh, what is he hearing that I'm not hearing? So, okay, it wasn't me. It was not there.
No,
Yeah.
no, no. Yeah, yeah. It was muted. But we have a special treat for everybody because you have a version of the Siren song. Before I play it, do you want to introduce it? Tell us what you were thinking when you did it.
Yes. Yeah, actually, if I could just pull up my notes on that. But before I pull up my notes,
Yeah.
um, you know, I might succeed in pulling them up because I don't remember where I put them at this very moment. Lisa Briggs and I were talking yesterday. She's underwater. She's an underwater archaeologist, and she's a water girl like I am. And she had asked me that question, and I have to say that because I'm a water girl, I immediately I'm thinking I'm swimming in the water, and I think of the waves pounding, and I think of and that's the rhythm. There's a rhythm to the ocean when you're swimming, and or even when I'm kayaking. And there's the melody of wind. You can hear the wind all around you when you're swimming. And you know, I'm always either in Hawaii or well, the Hawaiian Islands primarily, and then you know I was in Greece for a bit, but mostly a water girl in Hawaii. So that is all I know, the sounds of waves and wind, and those are the sounds that were driving me. So I found my notes here, and I said, trapped on a rocky island, the lonely sirens entice sailors to their doom, singing enthralling but empty promises. The beat of the waves pounding incessant. The sailors are hungry, exhausted, dreaming of comforts, women, soft places to sleep. And you know what they say things, Flint. That's the thing. Most people don't realize they say things. And what they say is something like this: come here, stay your ship, that you may listen to us until one hears the sweet voice from our lips. But indeed he rejoices and goes his way much wiser, for we know all the toils endured through the will of the gods, and we know all things which come to pass on the fruitful earth. Wow. That's what they're singing. It's not
Exactly.
Come here, sailor, and be close to my body, or you know, it's not sensual like that. It's more like a mental, emotional,
Yes,
knowledge, yearning for things that you can't have. And Lisa was,
plus they're depicted as birds, so like we always think of them as like these voluptuous mermaids. No, they had like beaks and like they were flying, like, you know, they were like birds.
It could be voluptuous birds.
Yeah, I don't think the ancient vase painting shows them that way though. Let me pull up some vase paintings of it. I know I have some handy, I think.
And then there's sculptures from the National Archaeological Museum, right, which are sirens holding lyres, playing lyres.
Yes. Are they on funerary monuments, I think?
You know, I didn't know. I didn't know
where they are.
You know, where they were from, actually.
I think
And my bad on that one. I just love
no worries.
I just love looking at them. There's two that I took so many pictures of these, you know, whenever I visit, but I never actually look at the provenance.
Here's one of those. So you can see Odysseus here tied up, and here's the sirens over here playing.
Oh, they're anthropomorphic in this one.
Yeah. And then of course there's this one's also anthropomorphic. This is Roman.
Oh, okay, that's later. Yeah, the one in the Getty.
This is one of the more famous ones.
Ah, here we go. Yes.
Yeah.
Is this like classical times, like 5th century?
Attic red figure. So this is like 5th or 4th, even probably 4th. Yeah.
So about 300 years after it was written down.
Yeah, and you can see them as clearly birds. Definitely not voluptuous.
No. And what's interesting here is they're showing themselves, whereas, you know, in the Odyssey, in Homer's Odyssey, they're far away. They're still, as Circe described, they're in the meadows. They're in the meadows, surrounded by the bones, the moldering bones.
Yes, exactly, of the sailors that they got. Yeah.
Who forgot to eat, drink, and go back. So it's such a powerful song that they have. So yeah, you can play it.
Yeah, so we have a treat for you all. You were muted and muffled, but now you're going to hear the siren song played by Bettina, sung by Bettina on her lyre, and it's going to entice you all to leave your bones behind. So this channel is now going to start collecting your bones is the goal here. Because you're gonna leave them behind. 1 second, that's behind my camera. Damn, I'm gonna have to move that. Here we go. Beautiful. So you can hear that rhythm right there, just very, very strongly coming through. Who's playing the drums with you?
Oh, that was Nikos. I'm forgetting his last name right now.
No, no worries.
Yeah, but he was wonderful to come and play it. To reenact the performance. But actually, it's me. I do all my own instruments. Because I
Okay.
have 60 instruments at home,
Huh.
from various parts of the world, and I play my own instruments in my Odyssey and Iliad album. All of them. The exception being when Thanasis Cleopas did a duet with me. Then he played his lyre and sang with me, and that was live. That was a live performance,
Okay.
which we had done in Athens. But otherwise, this was actually me on my frame drum. But the videographer, the filmographer was saying, like, let's make it interesting, so it's more of a conversation, and so let's call in our musician friend Nikos and see if he'll play it. And so he did, and that made it's true, like, as far as visually, it just made more sense that way. And with two of me showing up, so it's two voices of two sirens. That was in Santorini.
Aha, very cool.
Gorgeous place, right? So we were
Mhm.
trying to imagine something, visually stunning, and I happened to be in Santorini, and we were like, which song should we be doing? It's like, okay, let's do the Sirens Call. That's what I'm feeling. Let's do that one.
Okay. Perfect. So this is part of your Odyssey and Iliad Ancient Greek Epic Volume 1?
Yes.
Okay, I just put the link to that in the chat. It's also in the
Thank
description of the
you.
video. It's available on Spotify, YouTube. What else? You mentioned a bunch of other places.
Everywhere. It's everywhere, really. And it's funny
It's
when I
everywhere.
say, yeah, it's everywhere, music platforms everywhere, and people go, like, even TikTok? I go, yeah. Like YouTube, like YouTube Music. Yes. How about Amazon? Yes, everywhere. It's so I always have to give examples, and then say, like Spotify, and everywhere. So yeah.
Okay. So walk me through that melody and that song. So the lyrics are the literal ancient Greek words from the Odyssey itself, as
Yeah.
Homer writes it.
It is. I changed one of the verbs. I forgot exactly which one to indicate it. Okay, so I did change a couple of things, but it's more like I omitted them,
Mhm.
because that in my album, everything is dactylic hexameter except for 3 songs: one by Penelope, one the Sirens Call one, and there's and the Circe song. Those are not in dactylic hexameter. And when I was imagining this song of the Sirens, I was going more with how I felt when I'm in the water. And so again, it's the rhythm, and the dactylic hexameter was not fitting in there. And I wanted it to be more universal, so that they're not calling out to Odysseus
Mhm.
alone. So I say, come here, and I leave out his name. And let me see here. Where are we?
So wait a second. You're saying you were upset with the changes that Christopher Nolan made to the Odyssey, and you're sitting there making changes yourself?
Oh, it's, I think of it as like a couple of omissions, but like like, didn't say Odysseus come yet, and then I repeated der agion, so come here. I repeated that, and then to fit the meter of the way that I wrote it, and also imagining, that I'm calling out to plural, so I pluralized something in there, some verb in there. But otherwise, it is exactly the words, so like all the other words are all there that you can read. And my notes just disappeared on me again. So yeah, it's from Odyssey 12.185, and I actually have it here. I bookmarked it. Yeah. Oops. No. Okay. Oh, I thought I did, but I guess I didn't.
No, don't worry.
185. Oh, here we go. Yeah. So, yes, the original words say der agion, and then Polyain Odysseo. So I left that out. Megakides Achaeon. I left out renowned Odysseus, great glory of the Chians. And then I included Nea katasteson hinanoiteron op akuseis. Stop your ship, that you may listen to the voice of us too. And then I left out Ugar potistede pare laite nei melaine, the part about for never yet has any man rowed past the island in his black ship. I left that out, but then included until he has heard the sweet voice from our lips. Instead, he has joy of it. Prin gemeion meligerin apostomaton op akusai. And then the rest of it, instead is joy of it and goes his way, a wiser man. For we know all the toils that in wide Troy, the Argives and Trojans. Oh, I didn't do that part right. Okay, yes. For we know all the toils, and then I put, and we know all things that come to pass upon the fruitful earth. So yeah, just the detailed parts, as in location and man, I left out so that it was more universal.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. No, don't worry. I'm cool with adaptations. I seriously am.
I
So
think it's cool for people to know like things like that, like, and why, the process,
exactly.
and the reason, so that it's for people who would, it would beckon them more. It would feel more personal because this, I do wonder if the sirens, when they sing, it is personal to each man, right?
Yeah, that's how it's supposed to be. Their own desires and their own knowledge they want to seek. Yeah.
So therefore, when it's beckoning, come here, blankety blank.
So somebody mentioned in the chat that they were feeling the sirens call, but clearly that needs to be more personalized to you, Art Club.
Yes, dear Art Club.
So, all right. So Homeric poetry, it's obviously poetry, but it's also music, right? So do you have a sense of how the music to Homer would have been performed in the ancient world?
That's really tough because we don't have the notations, right? The musical notations. The earliest complete or mostly complete musical notations we have is 2nd century BC,
Okay.
around there with the slabs, the 3 slabs or 4 that are found along the Delphic way, when with the hymn to Apollo by and by so that particular hymn, it's in 5/8, well, usually reconstructed as 5/8 beat, because that's what you would hear, right?
Mhm.
And the epic stuff is dactylic hexameter.
Huh. So 5/8 works better with dactylic hexameter.
So I'm sorry, what did I just say? Oh my gosh, I can't believe I just said it. No, so that particular one with its 2nd century BC, it is 5/8, right? But Homeric epic is 6/8.
Aha, gotcha. Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah.
Dactylic hexameter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So already they don't match. Like the earliest one that we have like a good sense of, it doesn't match that. So it's hard to map on. And so I have to imagine certain things. So what
So
music,
maybe that 5/8 instrument, or sorry, that 5/8 rhythm will match better with iambic pentameter, so we could sing Emily Wilson's Odyssey too.
ooh, oh, how interesting. I hadn't actually thought about that. Yeah. So but the thing is that epic poetry has accent pitch marks. Okay, and so I follow those, and then I follow the intervals that I
Okay.
actually hear. Now there's musical theory where there are various scales, like the daimonic scales is known, and you could sit there and talk about Aristophanes's description of modes and such, and but I'm more of a practical practitioner of music. So I know what the scales are. I've tried them out. I'm like, okay, but how does that map onto music? And that's a hard one. So but it's easier to take intervals that you already actually hear, and from Athenaeus. So the one that I keep talking about is, his name is Athenaeus, son of Athenaeus. So Athenaeus, Athenaeus, and that's been sung a few times by colleagues like Steph Connor, and I've sung it a few times when I've gone around, and it's like da 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 da, and so on. So you can take interval, which I have, and use that. So when I see accent marks going up, I'll go, or down even, da, da, and then going up,
Ah.
da 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 da, da, da,
So you have the accents match the pitch that you're singing.
yeah, so that I can
Okay.
say these are true intervals,
Mm-hmm.
ancient music intervals in there, not theoretical. We're not talking about. It's like we hear it, and so I
Mm-hmm.
fuse it in there, and that makes it actually authentic. It was
Mm-hmm.
there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, understandably, people would go, well, but that's, of course, like several hundred years away from what was written. And I agree with you. That's the best we can do, though. I can't
Yeah, of course.
grab something that doesn't exist. And what else I do is I listen to a lot of Greek folk music. And
Mm-hmm.
Greek folk music, interestingly, is not usually in 6/8 meter. It's all others
Mm-mm.
funky sort of meter out there. So
Yeah,
that
like
doesn't map.
7/8 and like stuff like that. Yeah.
That doesn't map onto 6/8 either. And so that's something to think about. Like, why is epic meter not matching these dances that you're expecting, right? And it's different populations were coming in and out, and maybe epic it was the easiest to write epic
Yeah.
too, and but that's a different thing from like how did they dance to it, and how did they sing how did they therefore sing it. That's why I feel like I can sing it differently when it's a standalone interpretive thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I do wonder, like, I have done the Iliad a day,
Yeah.
where I mean, I did the entire book one. Everybody, y'all, I did the entire book one Iliad sung in dactylic hexameter with a lyre, and I made each character have their own theme song. I kid you not. Okay, so I did like major characters. Like I think I did 7 different major character theme songs in there to make it real, and it's all in dactylic hexameter. But having said that, I do wonder that if people got bored halfway through, like listening to something sometimes, and go, "Do you have something with a new beat, or like can you do something else with that?" Like, and like when Penelope's sad, I couldn't do it in dactylic hexameter. I mean, I could, but that's not the first rhythm that came to my mind of sadness and grief. So I didn't do dactylic hexameter. And with
Huh.
Circe enchanting also, I didn't do dactylic hexameter. I mean, I could, but I was like, that's not the first instinctual response that for me that was giving me a visceral response. And when people go, but can you sing it in dactylic hexameter? Yes, I can. I will happily sing it for you and stretch out the melody in such a way and sing it for you. Like if you want it performed in dactylic hexameter, I will take the same. I will do Sirens Call and sing it to you in dactylic hexameter. I'll sing it, and that's fine. It's not how I originally perceived it, but I don't have a problem switching rhythms and or even accents, right? So like when I perform.
Isn't music always a little bit of improvisation anyway in how you play it? So, I mean, what about ancient music? Do we have that sense of ancient music being improvised and adapted and changed with different performances?
Yeah, absolutely, because we hear about it, especially in, let's see, in epigrams of some sort. It was there's a lot of research done by Angela Cinelli that by the 3rd century, late 4th century, but 3rd century, definitely Hellenistic times, and people are performing in festivals, they are re-singing the epic. I mean,
Huh.
definitely, like they are performing it and re-singing it. And the thing is that when they describe re-singing, I do wonder, do they mean literally re-singing Homer in dactylic hexameter, or do they mean more like how Sappho re-sang and reinterpreted it and put it in her own rhythms, her own.
Yeah.
Sappho's got her own rhythms, and imagine that at the same time, basically, that that Homer's Odyssey and Iliad were being written down.
Mm-hmm.
Sappho was performing. I mean, it's basically the same time frame. We're talking
Mm-hmm.
you know,
It's a little bit later, but yeah, not much. Like,
yeah,
yeah.
not by much. I mean, that distance, that like 100 years distance, is less than the distance between second, third century, second century BC, where notation is there in
Of course.
Athenæus' hymn, to 8th century BC, 7th century BC, Homer's epic written down. So Sapphic meter is a very different meter.
Huh. So it's not 6/8. What is it?
It's her own. So like,
Oh, it's like, no, it doesn't match any of our modern ones.
no.
Aha,
So you
okay.
have to, I could give like specific things like, oh well, it's part bucolic, part this, part, but it's like that's meaningless to most audience.
So it's
People.
like really high-end jazz today, where it's going
It
like
feels
7/8
like
to
it.
5/7 to, like all this kind of stuff.
It's like da 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 da.
Huh.
Yeah, she did her own. That's why we call it Sapphic meter, because it's like, what is that,
Huh.
Sappho? Oh, well, it's this one and it's this one. She just writes in two different ways. And happily, I mean, I could discuss that another time. And Armand Dangour explains Sapphic meter and all sorts of different meters very carefully. And but you can hear many interpretations of Sappho, who already like did her own rhythms. And why did she do her own rhythms? Because she felt like it. I mean, who knows? She didn't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. It's the muse, whatever the muse strikes, right?
whatever the 10th muse, whatever the 10th muse felt like, that's how, to her, that's how she felt it, that's how she heard it. And maybe in her own island, that was the way they danced
Yeah.
things. And that's how she heard it. And so we gotta understand that music changes all the time. In classical period, Timotheus, they got upset at him because he was wanting to put in more strings to the lyre. They're like, oh no, it should be like 7 strings, or maybe at the most 9 strings. But what the heck is this 11 strings business that you're doing? Musicians are creators and innovators, and
Of course.
it's all about expression to them, and how they feel, how they interpret it. We take in the world. I take in a lot of scholarship and a lot of influences from all around the world. I'm a very interculturalist,
Mm-hmm.
and interdisciplinarian. And as I travel all over the world, I'm hearing many different things, and I take it in, and out it comes. And for it to be really me is one thing. For me to claim, oh, this is the stuff from Homer, I don't know, because I wasn't there. And also how you would receive something Homeric would be not my intent of how you're gonna receive an emotion that I'm trying to get across to you.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
so something that probably felt like a siren's call to them in 8th century BC was different from 13th century BC, what a siren's call felt like to them
Mm-hmm.
in Crete versus somewhere else in Ithaca, if it existed. And so it's always going to be subjective and interpretive. To reconstruct, to actually reconstruct music, you have to give many disclaimers.
Yeah.
And once you get past the disclaimers, you go, okay, so here's, with this in mind, this is dactylic hexameter. I am singing with a lyre. I am singing the accent marks. There we go. And I'm singing intervals that existed, musical intervals that existed. This is arguably pretty dang close to that.
I agree. I'm with you. No. I'm with you. I think people have this demand for something being like 100% absolutely accurate. And it's like, you do realize that just doesn't exist usually. Like, it's just impossible to achieve that, say, with the Odyssey movie, say with, musical adaptations, say with, even archaeological reconstructions. I did a show, you came and interviewed me, and I was working on these horse bones, right?
Yes.
And we did an exhibit of these horses. It was called the Athenian horse in Athens. And, to display an entire horse, we had to select different bones from like 3 different horses. It's just because they were damaged, it's just the only way to do that. This is just life, like you're never going to have such accuracy in the world, in an imperfect world, if you see what I mean. So,
Yeah.
and when it comes to art, this is also your art after
But
all.
it's my art. Yeah, I didn't profess to say this is reconstructed ancient Greek music, and I never say it like that. I say this is music using dactylic hexameter and the accent marks and replica instruments. And that's another thing. It's like we have to trust that the replica is close to it, as close to it as possible. And we
Here, show us your tortoiseshell lyre. So
yeah, here. Okay.
So this is a reconstruction here. Wait, I'll show that in a second. Let's see this.
Sure.
There we go.
So
So is
first
that
of all, no tortoises were harmed. And also it is illegal to transport tortoiseshell from Greece to
yes,
here.
that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is wood. It's just made to be looking like it's a tortoiseshell. This is gut. These are gut strings, and this is wood, and this is actual animal hide.
Huh. Very cool. So it's like a drum.
That's right. That's right.
Do you play it as a drum while you play the string instrument at times?
I do this way.
Okay.
Rather than this way. But
Yeah,
I've seen performances where they drum this way.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, but it's usually not Greek. I've seen
Okay.
Persian women performers like drum that way with their own lyre.
Interesting.
And you see these pegs here now.
For tuning.
It's more like colops usually.
Okay.
So what we've seen before is that this here would have been actually turning,
Mhm.
and then they're wrapped around it and then tied with something and then clipped with like clothespins kind of a thing, or hanging off, in some other way. But they asked, what's my preference, and I said, honestly, when as I travel around the world in these modern times, people don't have the patience for me to be like adjusting this. And I mean, already when I sit there going for like 30 seconds, like retuning it, I have to kind of talk to people to say and kind of entertain them while I'm doing it.
Yeah, of course.
Like, I can already imagine, like, okay, maybe ancient times are way more patient. They're like, oh yeah, right, as I'm tuning. So now here's an interesting thing though. By New Kingdom Egyptian times, so we're talking 15th century BC, they had these pegs in harps.
Okay.
So this is how it looks like. If you look up the wall paintings in 15th century BC Egyptian harps, these pegs, that's how they did it. So that's what we decided to compromise on, that like, okay, we'll go for something that is ancient. And we know that lyres and lutes originally came from Mesopotamia.
Mm-hmm.
And then went to Egypt by 15th century BC. And then lutes, we're not too sure about, at what point it came to Greece. We know that there are depictions of them. Anyway, not lutes. We'll just stick to lyres right now. So, we with lyres, we see it everywhere in attic.
Here, wait, I found that harp. This is one of the examples of the harp, and you can see
there you can see the pegs
right here. Yeah, the pegs right here, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you know that in ancient times they use it. But take a look at the lute one over there, because you can see with that one that it's there are tassels. So go follow it up
right here. Yeah.
So they tie them and they tassel them down, and that's more like what the ancient Greek lyre had.
Okay. Very, very cool.
Which is way harder to to mess around with it. Yeah.
So this is a Apollo with a tortoiseshell lyre. You can see the tortoise.
Right. Here. We assume it's Apollo. Lots of things are assumed to be something because someone at one point back then had decided that. And if in 5th century BC Attic vases or earlier, if you could find them, it has the actual description or has the name, then that to me is like, okay, that is what the intent of the artist was. But this one is not labeled. So it could be anyone, could be a priest, because goodness knows that crow, that raven, it doesn't quite belong in that scene pouring out the libation. So there's lots of things questionable about calling that Apollo with the lyre, but it's like they just like to call Apollo with a lyre because seems to be a man holding a lyre, and
I think
But
it was
why
found
would
in Delphi, wasn't it? Or am I wrong?
I don't know the provenance of that, but I always found it intriguing. That's like, why would Apollo be pouring out his own libation then? That doesn't
Yeah.
make sense to me. I mean, many things about that doesn't make sense if it's Paul. Anyway, yeah, but we see that
Yeah,
there's
it's from Delphi. It's from Delphi. It's at the Delphi Archaeological Museum even.
the way it's held. There's usually some sort of band that holds down
Yeah,
the
this.
hand, and usually there is a plectrum, but not always. Like that one doesn't. So when people go, don't you always need to have a band, and don't you always have to have a plectrum? And I say, no. If you look at all the depictions, no. The answer is no. They're all different from each other. What is consistent, though, is that when you see them strumming, when you see it being played, this one, they don't show it being played, consistently, the hand is up like this on strings, and then there's some sort of a plectrum going like this. And then
Okay.
people ask me like, oh, well, why don't you use that? And I go, oh, sometimes I do. Like, I don't, it's not like when I'm demonstrating, I will start by having, okay, I don't have my plectrum on me around me at the moment, but
Okay.
there's different sizes of plectra, and I will demonstrate that way first. So it ends up sounding more like a Japanese shamisen, the way it's being played with their three strings. But it ends up being much more Asian sounding, what we would consider Asian sound, as the stringed instrument, the Chinese stringed instruments, the guzheng, which are more like zithers. They actually pluck with their nails and other interesting things that are not actual nails, though. They have constructed nails, so it doesn't rip up their own nails.
Yeah. So they have like attachments.
Yeah. And so even then, like, that's not authentic either, because they didn't have attached nails back then. There are things that musicians do to make things easier for them, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Of course. Yeah. It's like, you play guitar and you have those picks that are on your fingers that you can attach, right? That kind of thing.
That's right. So I'm thinking, like, did they use the plectrum because just to make, well, certainly it makes it louder and much more distinct. But and here's a specific thing. As they're showing, okay, I keep holding up my hand like this. As they're showing up like something like this, and they're holding it up, right? And then they're, okay.
I would have thought they would mute it. Oh, I see. It does, yeah.
It is definitely louder if you have a plectrum.
Yeah.
That's just my nails. And I'm like, that sound is the same as me using my nails. So I'd rather be using my nails if I'm doing this. But if you want to see it look authentic, okay. And I'm thinking specifically it's showing the plectrum with the hand up, as if it's showing, oh, that's when they play it loudly. So it's not necessarily when they're playing the soft parts either. And so people have to be careful with art versus actual, and careful that, because artists, as in painters, are artists themselves. They improvise, they innovate, they express, and you can't always assume that they are copying exactly what they see. In fact, many vase paintings are copies of other ones that they saw somewhere else.
Yeah,
right?
Of course. Yeah.
It's not, they didn't actually see a muse, and then
They didn't actually see Apollo playing that lyre.
They didn't actually see Apollo playing the lyre. So how can you assume that they saw an actual lyre player and did that, when it seems like, were they just copying other vases of lyre players? I will say yes, they probably were. So they didn't themselves see a lyre player. They just saw that one and, oh, that looks like that's the way you do it, and so let's just keep copying that. You got to be really careful, because without archaeological evidence and without documentation, without literary evidence, they all have to be together for you to say, that is the way it was done. Absolutely. Okay.
I fully agree.
And music theorists, unless it's a music theorist who actually was a practitioner in the ancient world, I tend to kind of also not dismiss them, but just go nod and say, okay, all right.
Sure. Yeah. Whatever you think.
if you can do a musical analysis, hey, ancient music theorist, if you can show me a musical analysis of a piece of music that existed at the time that you heard, and deconstruct it for me, or analyze it, loosen it up for me bit by bit, right? Then that would be really useful to me. But when they say, "Oh, this is how a string can be divided," and these are the scales that existed, I'm like, well, gosh, we know there's all sorts of musical scales that exist currently that any musician can use. And what music do we hear? They're all different from each other. So
Absolutely. So
that's
wait,
not helpful.
we got to hear another one of your songs.
Sure.
Should we hear the opening to the Iliad?
Oh, okay. Opening to the Iliad. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah,
Are you
because
going
you
to
were
show
doing
the?
Iliad a day.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna do the whole Mainen Aida type thing.
Are we going to hear the Your Museum one that I did?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, of course.
Perfect. Let's hear it.
Yeah. Wait a second. Oh, man, I gotta change this setup clearly. Here we go. Iliad opening. Very nice. I absolutely love it. I mean, you hear people perform those lines so many times, and you're actually performing it as music, and so it just gives such a cool thing. So that's with that same tortoiseshell lyre.
Yes, that's with my nice travel lyre, and that was at Your Museum of Greek Archaeology in University of Reading, UK, which is my place, where I'm currently doing my dissertation on the ancient lute rather than the ancient lyre. Yeah, that was a fabulous audience, and we could only squeeze in so many people. Like, there were more people outside, and like, you can't, because it's like, no, fire hazard. But that was cool because we hung out with a bunch of people afterwards, and the reception was wonderful. But with that audience, it's there's a space. I always think in terms of space when I'm performing. For whom am I performing? So this is in England. It's not Greece. So I'm going to sing it in ancient Greek reconstructed, right, accent, rather than Greece. Now in Greece, I will ask, like, do you want me to sing it in the Greek accent? Or do you want to hear an ancient Greek reconstructed accent? And, it's a 50-50 with that one, because some are like, oh, well, I'm curious what ancient Greek sounds like. So I start singing, and you can hear them going.
They prefer modern Greek.
They really prefer their modern Greek, pronunciation, the Greeks, because to them, this sounds harsh and ick.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. All sorts of American students make the mistake of going to Greece and trying to speak ancient Greek to them, as you learned it in the classroom, and they're just like, Ella, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, to them, it's there. That's nice. As in, not main.
And can you just switch accents on the fly?
Yes.
Oh, wow. That's impressive.
Oh, thank you.
Wow.
Enough Greek friends, I think, that happens. But speaking Greek, it's like, I am sure with you too, like, if you're about to speak and hang out with Greek friends, then like for 2 days you're just like, all right, I will think only in Greek. I will be saying stuff in Greek to myself, and okay, yeah, gotta warm up, and then off we go. Because I have to deal on a normal basis. Like, I don't think people realize on a normal basis, I do Latin because I'm teaching kids, and I'm speaking Latin in class when I'm teaching it. So Latin, and then English, and then Tagalog, because I have a Tagalog speaking mother, and I talk to her all the time. So it's like there are already 3 languages going on. And then I have very good friends in Greece who text me in Greek, and so it's
of course.
That's always a lot of fun. And then but when
I now read ancient Greek with the modern Greek accent. I've been ruined by living in Greece.
That's just
so it's just like when I'm teaching and I have to like do something, I'm just like, fuck. I have to really force myself to think about how I learned ancient Greek pronunciation. Yeah.
Oh, for reals, when I see it in my head, right? Like yesterday when Lisa Briggs and I were talking, and she's like, oh yeah. And that's how she heard it, because that's how they said it when they were going from place to place. And they said that this one island is likely, like if there was such a thing as based on, they said this is likely the island Oia. And she said, I think in I guess that's the ancient Greek pronunciation. I go, no, that's the modern Greek pronunciation, because the ancient Greek would say Ogigia, rather than Oia.
Yeah, right? No, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
And so when I mean, and it sounds so different. Like when I talk about my research is mostly in Viotia. My UK friends look at me blankly, and I go, and I'll try it different ways. I'm like, Boyotia? Boyoshia? Until we hit one that they're familiar with, like, they're all, Bioshia. I go, okay, there we go. Bioshia. Biotia. It's like there's such different sounds.
Exactly. They really
like,
are. Yeah.
Boyotia is actually the ancient
Biosha versus Biotia. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's modern English is Bioshia. But ancient Greek is Boyotia, and then modern Greek is Viotia. Right? So you gotta adjust if you want to connect with your audience, whether you're teaching, lecturing, or performing. You have to have that going on. And I like to connect with people, or like, really, what's the point of it all? I could just be singing to myself, in a little room
in your basement, strumming the lyre.
That's right. But
probably how you started.
How I started is actually really interesting with this, right? It started with back 20 years ago. Like, what did Homer sound like? It sounded, it started with that question, and all I had at the time was a lap harp, and Roma Kikaranika, actually, she was my teacher. She was my professor back 20 years ago. And I mean, she's a dear mentor, now, and a wonderful friend. But back then, it's like she heard me trying it out in one of my graduate seminars, where I was pointing out the differences between an ancient lyre and a harp, and all I had was my harp. And back then, 20 years ago, the Kumartsis family in Thessaloniki, weren't constructing these replicas yet, so I didn't have access, and I'm not about to go make one. So, so this is what I had. And
first hunt a tortoise.
That's right. But I remember that she heard me doing that in the graduate seminar, and she goes, "Oh, can you come to my undergrad class and and just like play for us?" And I go, "Oh, yeah, okay." But again, I don't have a lyre. I have a harp. She goes, close enough. So like, that's what people would do, is just like ask for the closest thing. And then as we get nearer to the close thing, like, okay, but how close do you want it? Like, do you want me to actually sing it with no covered sound in my voice? And I change my voice all the time, according. And it's a funny thing, because my normal speaking voice, like, just around, is more like this, like, hi, hello, how are you? That's my normal speaking voice. This is me talking. So when I'm on TikTok, it sounds like this. And that's how I'm talking. This is how I talk, like, around the house. Hi, how are you doing? But if I'm mad with my son, it starts like gathering up the like teacher aura, like coming from the diaphragm. Hey,
So that's how you teach. Okay.
Right. So the voices change. And then if I'm singing, it's like, do you want the covered classical style, which most people want to hear? Like they don't realize that's what they want to hear. But when I'm singing, that's already covered. If they don't want covered, it's, let me see. So it's more, to them, that sounds more ancient, right? Like, oh, wow, that sounds really cool and ancient. I'm like, oh, you want to hear that style? I'll do that. But strangely enough, after hearing that over and over, they do get uncomfortable. And I switch back to I know that they don't think they're
uncomfortable.
Because it's actually not that pleasant sounding to a lot of people.
Okay.
People in general prefer a more covered sound like this.
Hmm.
They do. It's more soothing to their ears. This is a much more soothing sound.
So what is that? What does that mean? What does covered voice mean? I don't even know.
It's just a way, if you study vocal training, like it's just a way of where it's coming from.
Okay, so what's different? It's coming from different in the throat or in the mouth, and how you pronounce it, or
different from in your throat. So this, I'm as if I'm yawning. It's like a yawn cover, like it's that space that where like you're yawning is like this. This is not. This is uncovered.
So you're saying I need to open, like cover it more is the term, but like make it like I'm yawning as I speak.
Try it. If,
I am right now. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm not very good at this.
It's interesting because I asked Armand before. I asked him, like, how would you prefer like sapphic singing to sound like? And he goes, uncovered, with that covered, like, oh. So I sang it that way. Boy kilotron atanat Aphrodita. I did it more like that, throaty. But rather than Boy kilotron athanat Aphrodita, which people actually prefer.
It sounds more breathy is how I'd call it.
Yeah, well, that's sorry, because I mixed that with my normal voice. But if I were to go Boy kilotron athanat Aphrodita, so now I'm bringing in my diaphragm.
Yeah. Okay. So, I see. So it's more about bringing in the diaphragm then.
There's diaphragm, but here, listen to diaphragm.
Okay, because I can talk with the diaphragm.
Here we go.
Yeah, I played trumpet in the past, so yeah.
Boy kilotron athanat Aphrodita. That's diaphragm, but throat. So I can do variation of stuff.
Okay.
Having been trained vocally, with my back then 3 octaves,
Okay.
Now 2.5 octaves. It's like when people describe octaves, you describe your singing range, not what you can hit, but like what you can sing comfortably. And now I can comfortably sing 2.5, but hit 3, but like 2.5 is comfortable for me. As life goes on, and that's not like the main focus that I've done. So yeah, but it's still so ask me questions, because otherwise I'm just chatting about whatever.
No, you're fine. This is totally enjoyable.
I don't know, by the way, how many people are listening to this now. So like, hello everybody.
Hi everybody. We have all sorts of great comments. Like, did I say this is great? Or
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Others are like, now I wish I knew ancient Greek.
Oh well, gosh, yes, please learn ancient Greek. My goodness, pick up I wish they still had Athanase more easily to that reader, with Farmer, and everybody was just great. And I mean, you could see this is my main book here. Where is it? Yeah, Greek, an intensive course, Hansen and Quinn.
That's what I learned standard. With Emily Wilson. She taught me out of Hansen and Quinn. Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I mean, fellow Filipino in the chat.
Oh, hi, hello. Kamusta?
So yeah,
this is being here.
So how do audiences respond to your music then? Do they see it as your music? Do they see it as just ancient Greece transposed? What kind of reactions do you get?
So usually when I'm asked to lecture and perform, right? It's, can you talk about ancient Greek music? Can you perform ancient Greek music? That's how it's labeled.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, so it's ancient Greek music to people. And so then I would start usually by giving quite a variety. If there's nothing that they have in mind, unless, like when I performed at University of Florida, they asked me, we're doing can you do Homer in the Grove? So it's all Homer. I'm like, okay, now do you mean Homer or do you mean epic? Like, can I bring in stuff from the epic cycle, which is exciting,
Mm-hmm.
like from the Kypria? Can I do some Kypria stuff? They're like, oh yeah, okay, you have that. I'm like, yeah, sure. But if you want to stick to only to Homer, fine. And then it's only going to be dactylic hexameter all night long, except for those songs. Like, do you want only, I will specify, do you want only dactylic hexameter? Because if you do, I can take even the songs that I wrote that are non-dactylic hexameter and make it dactylic hexameter if that's what you want. So I do ask what they want, because I can flex like that. And
Mm-hmm.
and it's fun for me because it's an educational. Yeah.
Do you find that they know what they want? Like, because like I feel like if you ask me these questions, I'd be like, no, you choose. Give me your best stuff. You
Okay.
know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
do
So
you
if it's
find
like,
that they know what they want?
if they're like, oh, what if they say something like whatever you want, to go, oh, nice. So I give a good mix of things. So if they don't know, then I will give a little bit of Mesamides of Crete, Sappho, Athenais, Athenaeus, Sikylos, and Homer. So like I'll perform the ancient music notation ones, the ones that have music notations.
Mm-hmm,
I'll
mm-hmm.
perform those always, and then and do Sappho and Homer. And then that way they when they ask me what are your influences, I'll say the ancient songs that you heard. I will put those intervals into these, and then explain how far off they were. Like Mesamides of Crete, we're talking Hadrian's time already, so
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
second century AD. And then we have like Athenaeus, second century BC, and then Sikylos song is like second century AD already. So like still, again, the oldest, most complete one is second century BC. That's as close as we can get. And
Okay.
then I just keep pushing it backwards. And then I'll say, like, I listen to Greek traditional music, and traditional Greek music, though, how far back in time is always kind of interesting to ask, right? Because some traditional songs really go eons back, and they never changed it. But you don't know which ones those are exactly. And also because Greece itself, the inhabitants come from many different parts. So we're talking Greece from like
Arvanitiki, Slav, or whatever. So many different from Alexandria, from Ukraine, even.
That's right. What kind of Greek are we talking about
Yeah,
here?
exactly.
And there's all sorts of influences. And when people say, oh, Cretan music is so interesting, I go, it is, because it was already so very mixed.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
That was a fusion of places. By the time you're talking about traditional Cretan music, that already is very mixed and influenced in itself. So you don't really know where it's coming from. So it's like it's already infused. Music is already infused, and the ancient Greeks did not invent the lyre. Sorry, my ancient Greek friends, you didn't invent the lyre as a thought, as a thing. However, you invented the ancient Greek lyre, of course. Like that's your own version of the thing that you liked from way back then. The Mesopotamian lyre is not the same as the Egyptian lyre, and well, although that was pretty close, right? Because it like 15th century BC one that seemed to be that was like directly that. But then you take the 15th century BC lyre and bring it to Greece. The Greeks wanted to use the tortoiseshell because they like to repurpose stuff. Greeks are very practical even back then. And Hermes, the Homeric hymn to Hermes, was talking about Hermes taking the tortoiseshell and making a toy out of it, and a toy, beautiful sounding toy to him, and he made a lyre. Right? He got it. That little infant / toddler Hermes came across a cute little tortoise, let's just call it, and gutted the heck out of it and made it, immortal. And that's the origin story of the tortoiseshell lyre, which is very Greek, very, very
Yes,
Greek.
that is, because the Egyptian ones look totally different, or the Mesopotamian ones. Like one of my favorites is this. Trying
The
to get
bull
a
lyre, right?
yeah, exactly, at the Penn Museum.
Which, by the way, I don't think most people realize that they didn't have the wood. It was completely destroyed by the time the archaeologist already saw it. What he did was he poured the plaster into the groove.
Huh. Interesting.
That's what he did. And then that way he had what it looked like, the shape of it, because it was already disintegrated. There was no way for him to pick it up at the time. You do wonder, like,
it's just like the stuff at Pompeii. All that stuff is preserved from the void that's there, and you fill it with plaster. I wonder if they got the idea from Pompeii.
Oh, maybe.
Because it had already been developed by Giuseppe Fiorelli like 30, 20 years before they did these excavations at Ur. So, yeah.
Okay, there we are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the excavation at Ur, it was like 1920s. Something
or
like that.
20s or 30s by Leonard Woolley. Yeah.
20s or 30s. Yeah. I forgot when Woolley did it.
Right.
But, what we have is like the gold, because gold lasts forever.
Yeah. Doesn't corrode. Yeah.
That's right. So that's the bull head that everybody's so familiar with. That was there. So was, I think, the ivory. Yeah, the ivory was there. But the wood was not there. So that's a reconstructing, and people don't realize that. And then the British lyre tortoiseshell that everybody keeps showing, well, there are only fragments of that tortoiseshell around. So and that's a reconstruction. And the Posidonia lyre, there was a in the tomb of the diver. It's called the tomb of the diver. I think that's where they got it from. There were tortoiseshell fragments of that.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's only fragments. That's a reconstruction completely, like,
yeah, imagined. I'm sure it definitely looks like a reconstruction to me.
Yeah, it's imagined based off of like certain fragments. And yeah, I mean, I remember
this comes from Elgin as well.
Yeah, I remember diving into that whole thing, going, what exactly was found? What exactly was there? So these are all reconstructions, and so you notice with that one, they didn't use collops, they didn't use tassels, because they're like, I don't know. Sure, we know that it's wood because it didn't keep. So we got that. It's got to be wood. And
it was early on. This is 1816. It was imitated. So yeah.
Because only if it's really wet or really dry can you keep strings and relic and wood. And so in China,
of course,
there are relics of strings and wood instruments, like actual, from as early as 6th century BC.
Interesting. Very cool.
Yeah, 6th century BC, China has that, like the actual thing that, like, playable. Yeah, but it's not a lyre. It's more like an ancient guqin. And I'm pronouncing that wrong. I'm so sorry, my Chinese friends. Polish up my Chinese. I'm sorry. And
you can switch between ancient Greek pronunciation and modern Greek pronunciation. You can cover your voice and all, but you don't pronounce perfect Chinese. Come on, Bettina.
I know. If you gave me 2 days and said, "Can you say some like Chinese instruments?" I'll say, "Okay, hang on. Let me go back to my Chinese notes. I took Chinese for like Mandarin for 2 years. Let me and see how it's pronounced, how it's written." Yeah, and then Egypt has the like various tombs have the relics that are found of the there's the lute, so there's the actual strings and the wood and the hide from the ancient Egyptian lute. Those are around. So it's always so fascinating what will be found, but it's just very dry or very wet places and nothing in between. So Greece is not those descriptions.
No.
So unfortunately, unless we find a sealed tomb, like That
Even
would
in a steel tomb, it usually doesn't preserve wood and stuff like that.
no,
Very
still
rarely. I
no.
mean, occasionally, if there's bronze there,
Mhm.
bronze actually helps preserve organic remains. So
Oh,
when I was digging the tomb of the Griffin warrior, there was so much bronze there that there was actually some fabric, and there was some of the wood from the coffin that he was in, and there was all this kind of stuff. But yeah, you need something to help preserve it, because like you said, it's either waterlogged so that it's anaerobic environments, or it needs to be so desiccated and dry and arid like Egyptian sand. That's what it requires. So even in a tomb, but when you do find that stuff in a tomb, it's due to bronze. Bronze, I guess, prevents the decay of various organic materials. So yeah.
I'm finding out so much about archaeology these days because of my dissertation on tracing the origins of the specific stringed instrument across time and place. So it's
Hmm.
going from like ancient Egypt to China, and along the way, I also talk about various stringed instruments that kind of go along with that. And I'm not an archaeologist. I've never gone on a serious dig.
Aha, well,
So
you should.
I know I need to. Like, there's so many things. Um, Sadly, whenever I do propose like going to a dig thing, well, not sadly, I should say, but like what tends to happen is when I say that, like my archaeology friends go, "Oh, you're going to perform for us, right?" I'm like, oh, "Okay, so those are two different things."
Well,
And
you
so
better play some, like at least whip out a guitar in the evenings, because I play guitar around the campfire and stuff like that. Come on, you have nothing else to do. But yes, making you perform every night, that would be unfair.
so one of these days I'll be invited to like sort of dig a little bit, and then at night like perform, and I think that would be like my ideal archaeology tour where oh yeah, I finally get to be part of this like digging thing. Yeah, that would be fun. I could say that I did that.
Yeah, exactly. You got to do it. You got to do it now. Now I'm going to hold you to it, Bettina.
Yes, Clint. So, if you can propose me getting in there and say, "Hey, you guys, do you want like some ancient Greek or ancient whatever music going on?" Um, I'm I am still very slow with my Middle Egyptian, but I have sung some ancient Egyptian songs by now because enough friends have supported me in this, and it's nice. Egyptologist friends have helped me with pronunciation, with meaning, and I have like enough books and I read up on it. And so I know what I'm doing. But it's like it's always fun to try and start learning
Hmm.
now because I figure I still have like a good 50 years to go of my
Yeah,
life.
why not?
I
Do
can be learning new languages, singing new songs, eating new food,
it.
and such.
Sounds
So
like a good life. Yeah.
Flint, we got to wrap this up so then you can
Yeah,
be
I
on your
know.
channel.
So let's put on the last song that you suggested I play, which is Thetis singing to Achilles.
Yeah, so this one, only it's kind of a downer compared to the other ones. So it was only
The
because I was
perfect
thinking,
closing.
I was just thinking like in terms of the big picture of like the Iliad, because Thetis is the Thetis' son is the main character of the Iliad,
Hmm.
and I mean
And
it's
didn't
really
show up in the Odyssey.
yeah, only in Odyssey 24 where he's you're seeing him from the dead.
No, I meant the movie.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
yeah.
They cut him from the movie. I
They
mean, he
cut
had
him.
one tiny scene. Yeah.
They cut him from the movie probably because he's too big of a character, too
Yeah.
big of a figure to be
Yeah.
in there. So that's, and also being a mother, like I'm very protective of my son. I'm even I mean now that he's a young adult, like not so much yes and no on that. But like you'll always be a mother if you're a mother. So Thetis is protective of her son, even though he's a warrior, and she remembers him as a little boy. So in this, I just sing for this clip. It's on location, and so I think I just sang the first few lines of their conversation at the sea, or like the narrative part of that. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. Let's do it. Sorry, all. 1 second. While we're waiting, you should know that we use some of Bettina's music in one of our videos about Delphi. So
All
definitely be sure
right.
to check that out. Yeah. which
Right.
was awesome. But here we go. Thetis singing to Achilles. Absolutely gorgeous. I just loved it. I love the setting. I love the playing and the singing. Yeah, it's absolutely great.
Thanks so much. That was on Mount Olympus.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can see the epic setting. This is why the gods and goddesses live there, right?
It was such a beautiful moment, and there was housing construction going on over there, and they were sweet enough to stop. We're like, can you just stop for like half an hour? This is live that we're recording. And so and we're singing ancient Greek music. So is that okay? Just like give me half an hour, because this is just a short song, and we just have to record it over and over until there's like no sound around, you know. So they were really wonderful, and yeah, people were stopping and taking pictures, and sometimes the click click sound, we're like, can you not?
I mean, as somebody mentioned, Zeus was tapping his toe up there, so you know that was surely making a lot of noise.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Flint, for having me here. This was so fun.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Always
Are
great.
you willing to take about 5-10 minutes of questions from the chat?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think there's some people that would love to ask some questions. And look, I have her YouTube channel, her website, and her latest album on Spotify linked in the description of the video. So make sure to go check her out. And then right after this, she's going to be interviewing me for her channel. So I'll be on her channel in just a little bit, whenever she publishes that. So if people have questions, now is the time to ask them. Some hearts. That's not a question, T.
Hey,
some more hearts.
That kind of, when it's like comments that are hearts, yes. I'll take comments that are hearts. Oh, thank you so much. Oh.
Lots of comments. No questions. Where's the questions, everybody? Come on. She agreed to take 5 minutes of questions. We need one. Still lots more comments.
Oh,
They're in awe. They're in awe.
Thank you.
As they should be. It's
if
so
anybody's on TikTok too, I'm starting. Oh, did they have buskers in ancient Greece? No doubt, right? I mean, why not? Right?
Yeah.
Because there were professional bards, and I mean, everyone has to start from somewhere. Like, you know, maybe Demodocus before he showed up. You know, where did they pick up Demodocus from? Maybe they saw him like busking first, and they're like, oh, that dude that we saw like on the way to the Agora, we like him. Let's take him. Let's ask him to invite him over.
Yeah,
sure,
I think that's probably how a lot of musicians worked. Like they're traveling around and kind of, you know, them being invited in, like you said, to a hall or something like that.
Yeah.
So there's a question here. Somebody's adapting their music into a novel about a musician in an ancient fantasy world. Do you have any advice for details that would make the character feel real?
About a musician in an ancient fantasy world. So I think for it to feel real, you have to interview musicians who, you know, and like try to be specific about the kind of world that they're in. Like, is this musician coming from a rich family and chucking it all to go and become herself, following her dream, right? Or is this like, is this a man and he decides like he's a soldier and he picks up a lyre or whatever instrument because it's expressing his feelings like Achilles, and is he singing it to his bestie?
Yeah. There you go. You just created the kernels of 2 different novels.
His war buddy bestie who's gonna die later. I mean, so yeah, you you have to like really be specific, and then that's what makes the character real. Before you think about idiosyncrasies, about what they're wearing, what they're thinking, and all that, decide first who it is, and then it gets real. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Are there a particular number of strings that is the most that they used in ancient Greece? They were most frequently used, I guess.
I think the 7 strings is the one that's most accepted. I'm turning over here for a moment to see if I have no, I don't have our book. When I say our book, because I just mean that I edited the book by Nikos Xanthoulis. I was the English editor for the book by Nikos Xanthoulis, who's like a really well-known lyre player. Like he's, some say arguably the best lyre player in the world, and he did the method, the 7-string ancient Greek lyre method, and I was the English copy editor of that. And I know that when he teaches it, when he teaches in his lyre academy, he says it's the 7 strings. That's the main thing. But you ask me, and it seems like that is the agreed upon number of strings, and then from there it's less. A little bit more than that is good. I don't think there's many instances when they say there's less than that. There are arguably some ancient stringed instruments that were the tetrachord, but then that seems more like it's describing a lute rather than a lyre. So there's like some names of stringed instruments. We're not too sure what they are, but whenever they talk about the lyre, it seems like they'll say something like hepta, so and then they get mad when it's like a lot of strings. So between 7 and 11, there's that comfortable number, and then uncomfortable by 11. They're like too many. So maybe like mine is 9 strings, because to me that's comfortable, and it's small and comfortable, and that's the most I'll do is 9. To me, that's
somebody noticed that you like 9.
Yes,
when you were playing.
Like 9 strings, and I'm like, oh yeah, but I mean I can play the 7 strings. That's okay too, So between 7 and 9 to me is comfortable, and 7 for sure. You won't go wrong if you say the 7-string ancient lyre. Like yeah, sure.
You got a comment back from the novelist. Thanks. I didn't want to bog you down with details, but I think leaning into what makes the character unique will help.
Awesome.
We have another question from Franklin. How much would a lyre be worth in ancient Greece? Was it easy to find and get lessons to learn to play, or more difficult?
Okay. So the first question, how much would a lyre be worth in ancient Greece, like during the time of? It depends, I think, on if they made it locally or if they imported it. That's always the same question, isn't it? So it's like local craftsmen or imported from someplace else. If we're talking about local craftsmen, very likely they use tortoiseshell because again, the Greeks like to repurpose, and that would cut down on wood parts. And so like if you have you have yourself, like let's say you are a farmer and you have hides of animals and you have guts of animals, and there's a whole process in how to make it. You wouldn't know how to process the strings, so somebody has to give you the strings. So like parts of these things, right? So but maybe somebody knows how to locally construct it. That would be always cheaper than getting an imported one, I think.
Okay.
From what I gather, from what it seems like, just going across, talking about trade of any different kind of materials, it's going to be the same. Luxury goods is always the same. Was it easy to find and get lessons to learn to play, or more difficult? It was easy to find because on YouTube I found Michael Levy. This was like when I first began my journey on this 10 years ago, and found Michael Levy. He was just playing his lyre, and I asked, "Where's it from?" He was really friendly to find on YouTube, comments. And I asked him, and then he told me, and I said, "Because I noticed though you don't have a singer, and I sing, so I got a lyre, and from who he recommended it, and that was from the Komartis family in Thessaloniki." And it was super easy to order from them, and they got it for me. And then I said, "You don't have a singer, so let me sing it for you." And he's like, "Really?" Like, okay. And then we ended up doing 3 songs together, me and Michael Levy, right? And when the Komartis family heard me singing, they asked me to go to Thessaloniki. So they actually sent for me, the lyre makers themselves. So this was my first visit to Greece, 2018. Might have been 2017, but I think it's 2018 at this point we're talking. And so I went there, and I stayed in their villa, and they toured me around Thessaloniki. And then around that time also, Nikos Xantoulis was asking if I could go to Athens and perform with him on and now you might be wondering, like, why are they talking about performing already? Whoa, wait. Are you not? How did you learn? Well, I was a harp player. So
you already had the string
Yeah.
skills and everything like that.
That's right. And not only, harp, but I played my ukulele. I played like, other just like strumming things, and there are different ways to play it. And nobody at the time really knew how to play an ancient Greek lyre. And even today, like, there are different methods of playing the ancient Greek lyre reconstruction. As I've mentioned, and everyone has their own unique thing, and people are playing harmonics on it, and people are doing all sorts of funky, fun stuff. But those are not ancient Greek methods. Those are explorations of an ancient replica lyre that's you are now using for your own purposes, with
exactly.
your own techniques, doing fun things that your brain wants to do with the instrument. So you can do whatever you want. Getting lessons to learn. No, it's not hard to find lessons. So I know that the Komartis family, the Sikula Museum group, gives lessons. And if you're in Greece, I'm pretty sure Lyre Academy also now, which is Nikos Xantoulis' group, also offers it. And yeah, so that, I mean, it's way more prevalent now. But when I started 9 years ago, none of that was going on at all. Nikos Xantoulis was only developing his method then, which is why I helped him, by copy editing in English his method book, which you can pick up. There's that, and I know that the Komartis family, Sikula Museum family, also have their own method book. And I'm thinking at this point, more people are getting method books, as in because they're now comfortable playing with their own technique. And so they have method books, and they have their own way of teaching you how to play. Just with the disclaimer that when they teach you how to play, they're probably going to teach you their technique, and then the basics of like what we understand ancient Greek playing was, because there's not much to know about the basics of ancient Greek playing the lyre. So they would teach you how to play the lyre in the way that they know how to play lyre, and how maybe your exploration of the lyre.
Makes sense. We have a question that's kind of like a comment. Why are you not featured on the Titan Quest 2 soundtrack? Your songs would fit the game perfectly.
Can I tell you what it is? It's mostly I'm not on social media as much as it's like I will go in bursts, and then I'm everywhere, and then I go in my secluded little world of piano playing. I love playing, my Rachmaninoff in peace, and my Chopin and stuff, and also my books. And I will be just disappearing into my books and my computer, forever, for a long, long time, with my dissertation and stuff like that. And if people know about me, they will invite me. I'm there. But if they don't know about me, they don't hear about me, I don't necessarily put myself out there. And I'm not in Europe. So, Europeans got invited to all sorts of things. Oh, my friends were getting invited to the Odyssey stuff. And I'm like, oh, yeah. I mean, because they're there. Like, I'm here. And my name doesn't necessarily come up if I'm not front and center hanging out. Hi, everyone.
I think they just meant that your songs would have gone great with the game. Don't worry.
Oh no,
I think
okay,
that
I
was a
see.
compliment is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, it was more of a compliment.
Yeah,
Okay, I thought it was like an actual question. I was like,
No. I
just...
think it was meant just as a, like, your songs would fit the game perfectly is what they're trying to
Oh,
say.
okay.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
I took it literally. I took it literally, like, oh yeah.
That's why I was saying it's actually a question that's a comment. I shouldn't say
Got it,
compliment.
got it. Well, thank you. Then thank you very, very much. I'm glad you like my music, and it is on every music platform, as in it's in TikTok, music, YouTube music, Spotify, Amazon Music, any kind of music platform you can think of. My music is there, and I have 2 albums out now, and I'm actually putting together a 3 more, because I actually have music. I just have to compile it and put it and publish it, because all this music that I play as I'm performing around the world, I sit there going, oh yeah, I should record that.
I think that's a perfect ending. There's actually more questions, but we got to go record our chat. So everybody, I'm sorry we didn't get to all your questions. Yeah, no, thank you, Bettina. That was absolutely beautiful, and we'll have you on again, I'm sure, in the future.
Thank you. Thank you so
check
much.
me out on her channel soon.
Yeah. Oh, one more thing, y'all. If you
Yeah.
have questions for me, I am so easy to find. I don't sleep all that much. So I am easy to find on social media. You can just Google me. I'm one of the most Googleable people, Bettina Joy de Guzman. Super easy.
Yeah.
All my social media open, all my comments open. Yeah, get a hold of me. Say hi. Okay.
Perfect.
Thanks so much, Flint.
Yeah, thank you. And everybody give a like and a comment, and see you all later.
Rhymes and riddles, tickle, tickle, giggles, squiggle, jiggle, fiddle, Flint, undibble. Rhymes and riddles, tickle, tickle, giggles, squiggle, jiggle, fiddle, dibble, 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 dibble. Flint, undibble, Flint, undibble.